Namaskar and welcome. It's 6:30 this evening and this is the time to decode the top stories of the day with our reporters joining us live on this broadcast with big breaking top inputs and the other big stories. I'm Sakal Bhatt, and remember, one of the top stories of the day being that Prime Minister Modi today earlier launched auction of 41 coal mines for commercial mining. This is seen definitely as a big way forward in Prime Minister's Atmanirbhar Bharat mission, of which we are also part of it. We'll be also looking at big takeaways from Garib Kalyan Rojgar Abhiyan curtain raiser launched by the finance minister herself, and the latest inputs on the India-China standoff at the border. And to begin with, let's first look at this big story of the day. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, viewers, launched Garib Kalyan Rojgar Abhiyan. He's going to be, in fact, launching this Abhiyan on 20th of June, basically aimed at boosting livelihood opportunities in rural India. Now, this is a campaign focusing on 125 days spread across 116 districts in 6 states. They all will be working in a mission mode to actually help migrant workers. And today, earlier in the evening, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman shared very crucial details of this 50,000 crore public works scheme. It's a mega project aimed at migrants' welfare. Well, she said, besides other things, that the first priority of the Prime Minister Garib Kalyan Rojgar Abhiyan is going to be to provide immediate relief to migrant workers who have gone home. Further adding that there will be 25 different projects which will create mega job opportunities for migrant workforce in 116 districts. Adding that there will be 25 different projects which will create job opportunities, like we said. Now, these 116 districts will be at the receiving end of this benefit.
The first priority when we say Pradhan Mantri Rozgar Abhiyan is to deal with the immediate requirement of those workers who have gone back to their respective districts, and therefore to provide them a livelihood as soon as they are there. Now already some of them would have been there now for 15-20 days. So this whole idea of getting so many different schemes which have a rural component to be focused on the workers who have reached there, so that they immediately utilized and immediately provided with a livelihood. So that's been the primary objective with which we are doing this. Why only 125 days and not more? 120 days translates to 4 months. At least for the next 4 months, we are giving them a clear, concrete blueprint with which they will be engaged. As we go along, we'll have to see how even many of them would want to be there or want to go back. As they go on, we'll have to take it further. So there is just no reason to think that they will continue, all of them will continue to stay, or just no equally a reason to think that all of them will go away. So the government has come with this solid, all sort of comprehensive blueprint so that they at least immediately provided a livelihood. The 116 districts that we have identified have received large number of them, substantial number of them. And those 116 districts are spread over 6 states. Now, in those districts, both state and the central government have very meticulously mapped the skills of these people, skill sets, whether they are totally unskilled or partly skilled. Largely those who have worked in construction and such areas in urban centers where they were, and so on. So they have reached, some mapping of their skill sets have been done. Now, what this Abhiyan, which the Prime Minister will be launching from the Khagaria district in Bihar on 20th, will do is now within 125 days. Nearly 25 schemes of the government are all going to be brought together. And within those 125 days, we shall reach saturation levels for each of those schemes.
My colleague Arun is tracking this story very closely, basically the fine points of the Garib Kalyan Rojgar Abhiyan, which will be launched by Prime Minister on 20th of June, and Nishant, also my colleague, who was in fact their presser, in that presser, presided over by the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. Nishant, आप वहाँ पे थे, आपने भी कई अहम सवाल पूछे. सबसे पहले अगर कुल मिला के बात की जाए, we're looking at Nishant 125 days, we're looking at 25 mega projects, we're looking at 116 districts across the country, north, south, east, west, which will be at the receiving end of this mega project. Specifically, migrant workforce, their livelihood at this juncture, this comes as a huge relief not only to them, but the sustenance of this scheme is also extremely crucial, where the states will have to play a very, very important role. And today in the curtain raiser, what were the other fine details that you could gather, the implementation of it?
जी देखिए, बिल्कुल, क्योंकि सबको पता है कि जिस तरह से लॉकडाउन के बाद जो कई राज्यों में जो माइग्रेंट लेबरर्स हैं उनकी वापसी हुई, और ऐसे में ये सवाल उठाया जा रहा था कि जो अपने अपने गांव में, अपने अपने शहर को वापस लौटे हैं, उनको वहां रोजगार क्या मिलेगा, वो वहां पर क्या काम कर सकेंगे. तो ऐसे में इन प्रवासी मजदूर, चूंकि लाखों की तादाद में जो करीब 67 लाख प्रवासी मजदूर वापस लौटे हैं, तो ऐसे में ये सवाल उठाया जा रहा था कि इन मजदूरों को किस तरह से उनके ही राज्य में, उनके ही जिले में, उनके ही गांव में रोजगार मुहैया कराया जाए, ताकि इनको वापस ना लौटना पड़े, क्योंकि बहुत सारे मजदूर ऐसे हैं जो कि वापस नहीं लौटना चाहते हैं. तो ऐसे में ये काफी एक हिस्टोरिक स्टेप, जिस तरह से इस अभियान की शुरुआत होने जा रही है, गरीब कल्याण रोजगार अभियान, जिसकी शुरुआत प्रधानमंत्री 20 तारीख को करने वाले हैं. तो ऐसे में जो 6 सबसे बड़े राज्य जहां पर प्रवासी मजदूर वापस लौटे हैं, जिनमें बिहार, उत्तर प्रदेश, मध्य प्रदेश, राजस्थान, ओडिशा और झारखंड, ये 6 स्टेट हैं जहां पर सबसे ज्यादा जो माइग्रेंट लेबर्स हैं वो वापस लौटे हैं. यहाँ के 116 जिलों को सिलेक्ट किया गया है, और इन 116 जिलों को सिलेक्ट करने का क्राइटेरिया इस तरह से था कि हर जिले में कम से कम 25,000 जो माइग्रेंट लेबर्स है वो वहां पर वापस लौटे हैं. तो ये जो भी 116 जिले हैं, डिस्ट्रिक्ट हैं, उनमें हर जिले में कम से कम 25,000 माइग्रेंट लेबर्स जो है वो वापस लौटे हैं. तो इसको क्राइटेरिया बनाकर इन जिलों का चुनाव किया गया, और जो ये स्कीम लागू होने के बाद इन जिलों में जो माइग्रेंट लेबर्स वापस लौटे, उनमें से कम 2/3 लोगों को रोजगार मुहैया कराया जा सकेगा.
जी.
तो ये काफी एक महत्वपूर्ण स्कीम है, जिसमें कि एक नहीं बल्कि कुल 12 जो केंद्र सरकार के 12 जो प्रमुख मंत्रालय हैं, चाहे ग्रामीण विकास मंत्रालय हो, ड्रिंकिंग वाटर एंड सैनिटेशन मिनिस्ट्री हो.
So basically the prime focus here is going to be, Nishant, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you. That's all we have time for on this story. The empowerment, the rehabilitation and the livelihood via job opportunities for these migrant workforce. Thank you very much, Nishant, my colleague, for joining us live on this story. Let's quickly move on, and with a view to achieve Atmanirbhar Bharat in the coal sector, Atmanirbharta in the coal sector, Prime Minister Modi earlier today launched auction of 41 coal mines for commercial mining via virtual platforms. The theme was actually unleashing coal, new hopes for Atmanirbhar Bharat. Prime Minister said that recent reforms by the government will have positive impact on all sectors. Let's listen.
कॉमर्शियल कोल माइनिंग के लिए आज जो ऑक्शन की शुरुआत हो रही है, वो हर स्टेक होल्डर्स के लिए विन विन सिचुएशन है. इंडस्ट्रीज को, आपको, अपने बिजनेस, अपने इन्वेस्टमेंट के लिए हम नए रिसोर्सेज मिलेंगे, नया मार्केट मिलेगा. इसके साथ ही राज्य सरकारों को बेहतर रेवेन्यू मिलेगा. देश की एक बड़ी आबादी को रोजगार मिलेगा. एक प्रकार से गरीबों की सेवा का काम कोयले से भी हो सकता है, इसका विश्वास पैदा होगा. यानी हर सेक्टर पर एक पॉजिटिव असर देखने को मिलेगा और मैं जो फील कर रहा हूं, इसके कारण हमारे देश के गरीब इलाकों के और गरीब लोगों के सबसे ज्यादा आशीर्वाद हम सबको मिलने वाले हैं।
Arun, my colleague, is joining us. Arun, Prime Minister today extensively spoke on the unleashing coal new hopes for Atmanirbhar Bharat. But, you'll agree that there is much more to it. This is not a usual auction in coal mining sector, but larger game plan or blueprint when it comes to achieving Prime Minister Modi's vision or mission of Atmanirbhar Bharat.
That's right. The picture is much larger and it's an important pillar as far as the Atmanirbhar Abhiyan is concerned, Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan is concerned. Important part, Sakal, that industry was demanding this commercial mining from a long time. We know this fact that from last 4.5 decades, now Coal India, that means the government-owned company Coal India was having a monopoly as far as mining is concerned in the coal sector. That means only Coal India could do the mining business. But important part is that now the government has given green signal for the commercial mining. That means private players, the big private players like say Sagoa, Vedanta, JSW, these are domestic private players, big players. They wanted to invest in the coal mining sector. So now they will be in a position to invest more. There are many international players like Rio Tinto. There are many international players like BHP. They are looking lucrative options as far as investing in the coal sector of our country. So the doors are opening for these big international players so that they can invest in our country. They can create jobs. 3 lakh jobs, 3 lakh direct and indirect jobs will be created after this opening up of the commercial mining. The states which are in this business of the coal mining or whereby the coal mining will be done, all these states will be earning 20,000 crore of revenue annually on annual basis. So now the commercial mining opens the way forward as far as the big amount of employment is concerned. But the important factor over is that, Sakal, that we will be getting more private investment. Number one, we'll be getting more new technologies from international markets and of course the big private players, so that new technology will be induced in our market so that we can increase our production. Last but not the least, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has given a very, very massive target to the corporate players as well.
Yes,
he has
that's
said
right.
by 2030, the gasification of coal should be done about 100 million tons. That is the capacity size. That's a massive target given by the Prime Minister, and that's what the industry is talking about.
Very rightly summed it up. Arun, many thanks for those quick updates. Thank you. Well, India and China, as we speak, are holding major general level talks today on border issue. Meanwhile, India, remember, has rejected Chinese claims on Galwan Valley. Ministry of External Affairs maintains that China is making exaggerated and untenable claims, which is contrary to the understanding further that was reached between the two countries, adding that Galwan Valley belongs to India. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Modi has also called an all-party meeting on Friday on this issue. And the latest that we can share with our viewers, the briefing today that concluded a while back, MEA spokesperson Anurag Srivastava has also maintained that India expects China to confine its activities to its side of the line of actual control.
India is very clear that all activities are always within the Indian side of the LAC. We expect the Chinese side to also confine its activities to its side of the LAC. During his telephone conversation with the Chinese Foreign Minister, EM conveyed that the need of the hour was for the Chinese side to reassess its actions and take corrective steps. They should strictly respect and observe the line of actual control and not take any unilateral action to alter it. It was agreed that both sides would implement the disengagement understanding of 6th June sincerely. Neither side would take any action to escalate matters and instead ensure peace and tranquility as per bilateral agreements and protocols.
Okay, before we move on to the other big story of the day, 21st June is going to be celebrated as International Yoga Day, and we just have a tweet coming in from Prime Minister Narendra Modi where he has appealed to the people to mark the 6th International Yoga Day at home with family while following all norms of physical distancing. So once again, on this occasion, on this occasion for Yoga Day, International Yoga Day, which will be celebrated on 21st of June, Prime Minister reaching out to countrymen, appealing to the people to mark the 6th International Yoga Day at home. You can at home with family while following all norms of physical distancing. Prime Minister also through a tweet says, and I quote, yoga gives us an immense opportunity. Yoga gives us an opportunity to know our immune system better, enables strong mind and healthy body. So International Yoga Day during COVID times will be celebrated by one and all at their homes, following norms of physical distancing. That's the appeal coming from Honorable Prime Minister reaching out to the countrymen via tweet. I again quickly quote this tweet. Prime Minister Narendra Modi appeals to the people. This is in fact the PIB releasing this tweet, Press Information Bureau releasing this tweet, stating that Prime Minister Narendra Modi appeals to the people to mark the 6th International Yoga Day as well. There's a tweet from PIB as well. And now let's quickly shift our focus to what we were tracking very closely, the border standoff between India and China. And the other, the top headline coming out from the earlier press briefing by MEA was the MEA spokesperson specifically talking about questions pertaining to where does the standoff stand as of now. MEA reiterating that India is strongly committed to its territorial integrity, further adding that no Indian soldier is missing in action.
While we remain firmly convinced of the need for maintenance of peace and tranquility in the border areas and the resolution of differences through dialogue, at the same time, as Honorable PM stated yesterday, we are also strongly committed to ensuring India's sovereignty and territorial integrity. I'll also respond to specific questions on the status of Indian soldiers. This has been clarified by the Army earlier today afternoon that there are no Indian troops missing in action.
And my colleague Abhishek Jha, who is tracking MEA developments, joining us live on this broadcast. Abhishek, what do you make of the recent statement or the recent position again taken by the ministry, by the Indian government, where by no means and in no means the territorial integrity and sovereignty of the country will be compromised, at the same time trying to tell China you better mend your ways?
India has been acting with knew that both India and China, they are very mighty in terms of any small while India has been maintaining a responsible activism, Chinese foreigners has made some progress at the border. See this, even though even last year our Chinese he said that India and China should act responsibly on the matter, and there should not be any exaggeration. Now, we don't see that China is just in this conversation, and even when also we see some of these by China or maybe very much in good case with what has been agreed. So, while keeping China at 8 years still maintaining now, only that it will commit, it will show its commitment will be honored. What was agreed upon by the commanders of the both side met at the border on the 60th. So, 6th June is the date, and both parties decided that they will do the side of the border, and they will be that status quo was tried to,
Abhishek, I'm sorry, I'll interrupt got you here. Let's try and fix that line with Abhishek once again. There seems to be a bit of a snag there in audio clarity. Abhishek, we'll try and reconnect with you. Meanwhile, let's continue with the same story. Now, this is important to understand here, viewers. Amidst the brewing tension along the LAC, India and China is holding major general-level talks today on the border issue. Now, rejecting Chinese claims on Galwan Valley, India has once again made it very clear that Galwan Valley belongs to India. Earlier, Chinese side had claimed that the sovereignty of Galwan Valley belongs to China. Now, Ministry of External Affairs in a statement that was earlier has said that this claim is exaggerated, the claim is untenable and contrary to the understanding that was earlier reached between India and China during the military commanders meeting on 6th of June. And the other big issue that was also discussed today, which was also taken up by the MEA press conference, has been India at UNSC. India has been elected as a non-permanent member of the United Nations Security Council for the 2-year term by getting 184 out of 192 valid votes. Prime Minister Modi today said that he's deeply grateful for the overwhelming support shown by the global community for India's membership, saying that India will work with all members to promote global peace, global security, resilience and equity. India has also today in the presser set out priorities at India's standpoint at the United Nations Security Council. Very clear. This was in fact stated by Mr. Vikas Swarup, Secretary, West, Ministry of External Affairs. Let's listen.
Seeking responsible and inclusive solutions, concrete and result-oriented action at the Security Council for an effective response to international terrorism, reformed multilateralism to reflect contemporary realities, a comprehensive approach to peace and security guided by dialogue, mutual respect, commitment to international law, for which we also hope to help streamline UN peacekeeping, and technology with a human touch.
Earlier, India's permanent representative to United Nations, T.S. Tirumurthy, said that support from United Nations is overwhelming. He added that election to UN Security Council is a testimony to Prime Minister Modi's vision and inspiring global leadership. He also exuded confidence that in the COVID and post-COVID era, India will continue to provide leadership and new orientation to a reformed multilateral system. Quickly, let's take a look.
Our election to the Security Council is a testament to Prime Minister Modi's vision and his inspiring global leadership, particularly in the time of COVID-19. The outcome is a reflection of the strong campaign led by the Honorable Minister of External Affairs, Dr. S. Jaishankar. India will become a member of the Security Council at a critical juncture, and we are confident that in the COVID and the post-COVID world, India will continue to provide leadership and a new orientation for a reformed multilateral system.
And before we wrap up this broadcast, let's once again leave you with a strong message coming from Honorable Prime Minister as a round-up to the celebration of International Yoga Day. We have a message coming in. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, we're going to play out that message of Honorable Prime Minister right on your screen. Prime Minister Modi appealing the people to mark the 6th International Yoga Day at home, but at the same time follow physical distancing norms.
Friends, greetings on the 6th International Day of Yoga. I'm very happy to note the growing popularity of yoga in the last few years, and especially among the youth. We are marking the 6th Yoga Day in extraordinary times. Usually, Yoga Day is about public events, mass participation. This year, Yoga Day goes indoors. The theme of the year is yoga at home and yoga with family. Friends, the world is fighting a pandemic of monumental scale, but yoga provides multi-dimensional solutions to the multiple challenges COVID-19 has brought. Yoga gives you the opportunity to know your immune system better and put in the extra efforts where needed. Yoga has the potential to cater to mental, physical, and psychological challenges. It puts to test how one can live in challenging times. Friends, yoga offers something for everyone. It enables strong mind and healthy body. In the post-COVID era, the focus on preventive health care will get stronger, and that is why I am confident that yoga will become even more popular. Friends, these are times of distancing. But do you know that yoga is what ends distance? It is said, Yujjate anen iti yoga. Yoga is that which joins or brings things together. Yoga ends various kinds of distance. Distance between our mind and body, which is the root cause of many problems. Distance between the life we have and the life we want to have. Distance between our expectations and reality, which can become a source of stress. Friends, the regular practice of yoga gives emotional strength and empathy. We begin to understand that others would be going through the same struggle as us. So, we become a shoulder of support for someone in need of it. Friends, the COVID-19 pandemic may have reduced our mobility, but it should not affect our enthusiasm towards yoga. People have been sharing innovative ways to practice yoga in times of the pandemic. They are also sharing how they will mark Yoga Day on the 21st. This is a great sign. This time, small is smart and small is good. Respecting the present situation, let us mark the 6th International Day of Yoga from our homes, with our family. And let us follow all norms of social distancing. Let us make yoga more popular and our planet healthier. Thank you.
Prime Minister's message ahead of the celebration of International Day of Yoga on 21st of June. Do celebrate Yoga Day at home with your family and friends, but at the same time, follow norms of physical and social distancing. Well, that's the message coming on from our Honorable Prime Minister. And with that, it's time to wrap up this broadcast. Meanwhile, news and updates continue on your channel, nation's leading national news broadcaster, Doordarshan. Stay with us.